Yay, good morning. Hopefully that's worked. I'm about as organised as I was last week. Just give me a moment just to post on the Facebook page because I know there are people that wait for the link on there. Let's type that up. Sunday morning coffee live now. And I'll get back to you. So there we go. And here I am. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning coffee number something. Sorry, I was a little bit late. Yeah, I'll go into that shortly. It's good to see you all here. Already waiting for me. Oh, sorry, it's the morning's begun already. I've decided to sit on the floor this time. I've been practicing my angles. I think that works all right. Although I don't have the little shelf up there now, but yes. Oh, I've still got a bit of Furiosa's face there too. So yes, I'm still stirring my coffee here as I totally run to go and get it. Oh yeah, I've got this hood. It's very cool. So this is, I say, I don't know what level of Sunday morning coffee we're on at the moment, but it's our annual weekly catch up on the happenings of Bad Squiddo and Annie. I've got a big coffee stain down my screen as well, which I keep thinking's on my face. I possibly did the largest coffee spurt anybody has done in the history of anything, and I keep finding remnants of it. My caster made me laugh just as I'd taken a big gulp of coffee earlier in the week, and it did comedically pour all over the laptop. Just very unprofessional of me, but yeah, hit those likes, ring those bells. I've been watching a load of YouTube stuff yesterday, just other random YouTubery things. And yeah, I didn't realise just how bad it was for do the likes, ring them bells. I got myself in the what's the word? Rabbit hole of the Micah Stalfa stuff. Which I kind of could have done without, but it seemed a distraction from all the other miserable things. This doesn't sit right. It seems to sort itself out. So yeah, I ended up watching loads of those sort of professional YouTuber channel things. So yes, good morning. Sorry, I'm just on rambling. My coffee's not looking almost like an actual coffee now, and not like milk with coffee floating in it. So this, I'm afraid, is probably I tricked you. I said it was fun. I've not got that much great to say this week. It's been a rubbish week. So in terms of news, there kind of really isn't any. So I mentioned before about mental health issues. My mental health is pretty bad at the moment. So this week I've been in bed pretty much all week. I think I was in Monday and I was in Friday. And in between that, and somehow I'm still tired. Yeah, I've just been in bed. Morning, Andrew. Is that you that gets up at 5 for this? That is definitely salute worthy. I'm sorry I couldn't do it later for you. I've got it so fixed on 10 o'clock now that that yeah, if I move it, I think it'd be more harm than good. Yes, thank you for getting up at 5. It's a good hour to get up. It is my usual up hour. So to extra appreciate on a Sunday, to be fair, to watch my ramblings. So yeah, in terms of Squiddo, a lot of things should have happened this week, and they did not. Yes, they did not happen. And hopefully they will happen next week. But I actually don't know anymore. I'm not quite sure where to really go with this. Yesterday I was like, oh, shall I just not do a Sunday morning coffee? I'm like, no, I should, because sometimes they cheer me up when I'm feeling a bit rubbish too. And I'm sure this will, even if oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have a catchphrase. Maybe yawning is my catchphrase. Yes. What have I got? I even wrote notes this time, but they're all sad. We got a new release. I released the Woodland Critters, the resin Woodland Critters, and they are excellent, and they've gone down really well. And I think I've mentioned before how It's when you start a company off, you're like, yes, I'm going to put this new release out and I'll build up to the new release and it'll bam out and yes. But generally, new releases don't tend to sell immediately unless maybe you've got a big thing like a whole range of something. You'll put a new. Oh, Lord. Welcome to the Yawn channel. So you put a new release up and the internet goes wild. So people go, shut up and take my money. And you actually sell like a few. So I'm used to that now. In the early days, I was like, this is a disaster. My new release, I've put all this effort into it and people aren't immediately buying it. But now with experience, I know that it tends to be that the launch day doesn't really do anything, but then people, once they get paid or once they need some more stuff, then they sell. So the good thing is that I put those woodland animals up and people went nuts for them. So like, yes. So it's always a bonus. You're mentioning yawns in the comments. We're now on this worldwide yawn thing. So it's always super good because my expectations are so low that when I do a new release and loads of people buy it sort of straight away or in the first 24 hours, and that's extra good. So that was really cool. So the last two terrain. Stop saying yawning in the comments. The last two terrain sets have gone like that too, so that's really nice. And they are a lovely set. So I'm hoping that they cheer people up in this grimness that is the moment. That will be a bonus. So yeah, that was cool. That was a cool release. If you haven't seen them, I'm aiming to do a newsletter later. I don't know if I will, but that is the aim. Then I will put some pictures and stuff in there, but just go to the website. It's in the news section. It's a lovely little kit. I haven't got one here to show you, but I showed it off last couple of weeks, so it's a little it's little woodland scenics with little cute animals on. So yeah, we've got like little badgers and weasels and squirrels and stuff like that. It's just a really lovely kit. It's sculpted by Ristal, who I don't know if he's here because he sometimes lurks. So if he is here, thank you, Ristal. They're excellent. We've got some really lovely releases that sort of go with that coming up too to follow onwards. Oh yes. So what else have I got? Oh yeah, I got yawns. I'm releasing all the yawns. I've got a new thing to tell you that nobody else knows, and not even most of my friends know. Because normally my secret launch goes sort of tell the inner circle and then the secondary circle, because I can't keep a secret of my own stuff. But I've been on a bit. Well, I've been on a bit of a downer. I've been on a massive downer, but partially this coffee looks disgusting, but it's not. It's just because I've managed to get particles all over it. But I wanted to show off the cool side, so I can't even I can't even do it that way. No. I should probably have a sip of coffee, shouldn't I? My lovely like scattering of coffee granules. Help me. Yeah, so I was on a bit of a downer that I haven't released any female minis for ages. It's obviously the Kickstarter has taken up a lot of the resources in terms of cash and in terms of just me going, can't focus on doing some new releases while I've got all this to do, because I'm a very tunnel visioned person. So I've been really just like Kickstarter, ignore everything else, Kickstarter. And now that's done, I'm in that like never zone. So yeah, I've realised I've normally got something in the works while the Kickstarter's on to do the next bit. And this time I haven't, which is another reason that I'm really gone off the idea of doing big Kickstarters again. As much as this was ace and it was really cool, it's proportionally, it's just so much work. Whereas, let's say that one, if it was split into two smaller ones, would have been a lot more manageable. So I want to go back to doing smaller stuff because it doesn't eat all of my brain. So we've got a bunch of the Kickstarter minis will be out for release. I just need to sort that. I've got them all in boxes, so I need to see what I've got extra of that I can release immediately, and what will have to wait till I get a new order of metal in. So that'll be a few weeks sort of thing. But a lot of it I've got. I've managed to order spares. So if you didn't get in on the Kickstarter, or you didn't get all you wanted from the Kickstarter, then there's extra that you can get there. And they'll be out, and you can tell your mates that didn't get in and all that sort of stuff. And there's a lot that you might not have pledged for because they just had sketches, or they didn't even have anything. They just had my description. So they're all sculpted and or painted now. So there'll be a better picture for you there. So I think there's quite a lot of people have already said, "Oh, might have missed this." So yeah, get on that. I've got a next huge bunch of sculpts to organise with a sculptor. The theme of this episode is me talking about how I have so much to do and I just can't do it at the moment. So I need to get hi Jez. Oh, hello everyone who's come along. So there's lots of people. Hello. So yeah, the theme is that I have so much to do and my brain isn't letting me do it, which sucks. So I've got to organise a lot of the next load of sculpts. And if I'd done that when I should have, they'd be ready by now. They would have been sculpted and I'd be in a nice sort of, but I haven't. So that sucks. But I'm waiting, again, with my like, everything has to be everything all the time. So with a painter or a sculptor, I'll leave them hanging because I want to give them all the information at once. And then because I keep putting it off, I can see flat guinea pigs over there. Because I keep putting it off, then sorry, where I'm going. I keep putting it off. Yeah, then it becomes a whole thing. And if I'd just given them a few bits to do, they could have done that in the time rather than me waiting for it all at once. So in a burst of inspiration, I ordered a sculpt last week, which has, I think it'll be ready next week. I think the sculptor was so excited that he went straight for it. So it's, instead of me saying, wait till you've got this list of 30 sculpts or something to do, I went, oh, can you just do this one? It does mean that I'll tell you today, you'll get excited, then I'll show you when I've got the sculpt and you'll get excited. But it'll be a little while till she can get released because it's just one mini and they tend to have to go in the mold of a whole bunch of them. But I might find some greens to put them in with. Or maybe the casters will have, they won't. But to I've built it up now. And I've also, just to be excellent, I've totally forgot the lady's name. But it's the very classical photograph of the lady batting a neo-Nazi with her handbag, and she's like full on going, and it's wicked. And it was made into a little statue as well. And yeah, it needs to be a miniature, so she's going to be released as a little mini, even with the little cobble base to show her on the cobblestones. And obviously I'll be more awake to actually remember her name, and so she'll be called that in the pack. And yeah, I'd like to do a lot more of that sort of stuff because that's really cool. It's one I've been aware of for years, and it's been doing the rounds more lately, obviously. And I've just thought, that is cool. That needs to be a model. Yep, screw it. I don't even need to think about it. There you go. Here's a photo to do it. But yeah, it might be a little while. But if that gets me in a little bit of a kick for ordering some more sculpts, then maybe that'll, once I see the green, I go, I need to order more greens because look how cool and exciting it is when I receive greens. Then I'll maybe get some more stuff commissioned and it won't actually be that long. And then there'll be a whole release of a bunch of stuff. Woo! That would be very cool. So that's all the newy stuff. Yeah, the week in Bad Squiddo has been barely anything. Danuta Danielson, thank you, people who have just gone and Googled that. Yes, that's the one. And thanks, Edwin, for the link, because then if people don't know what I'm talking about, there is the link there. So that's excellent. So yeah, the idea of this this show is that I talk about what's happened in a week, and it really, I don't even know what I've done. I've packed some orders. That's it. So I've mentioned my mental health being rubbish quite a few times, but it's kind of really bad at the moment, and it's because of the pandemic and stuff. It's extra bad because obviously, but everybody's having this sort of what is it? Mutual trauma type thing, collective trauma. That everyone's in some sort of crappy feeling, regardless of what their mental health was at the start. But it feels really bad to talk about because I feel like I'm playing mental health top trumps. Because I'm like, yes, there is all of this and the existing my brain not being correct. So it's hard to sort of talk about it because a lot of people go, yeah, it's hard times at the moment. Like, yeah, it is, but also the bit a bit mental. So yeah, I don't know. And obviously the isolation and all that sucked. But I've been in a real just not being able to get out of bed and wash and do anything. I've actually got my pajama bottoms on, so I was a little bit late because I kind of dragged myself out about 5 to 10. So I've not been doing very well, and I feel like the last 3 Sunday morning coffees have been a bit like this, where I've kind of said, yeah, not much has happened. It's getting to a bit of an intense at the moment because there is so much that I need to do. So as a bad squiddo, obviously I've got tons and tons of stuff that I have to do, and you obviously don't see most of it. You see social media posts and new releases, but it's all the behind the scenes sort of nonsense. And then with the pandemic as well, there's been more work on in terms of not having anyone to help, and there's this grant stuff is doing my head in. So I'm trying to get some money because I've obviously lost a lot of money from trade shows, particularly those big ones. Um, so I'm trying to get some money back, and I've glimpsed over it a bit before, so that the sorry, I'm reading the comments again. I don't know where what's going on. Um, yeah, they're trying to get the government grants and stuff like that. And if you just glance at a newspaper, you think, oh, it's really cool for self-employed and small companies and all that. It seems pretty cool. It's not. So I've been kind of screwed over on a £10,000 grant, and now I've been given the option of applying to potentially another £10,000 grant. But the deadline for applications is tomorrow. So, so I've been going, I'm going to get this done today. I can't deal with it. I'm going to get this done today. So today is my final day to do this paperwork that could potentially get me up to £10,000 of grant, not loan, which is really important and really needed. But the mental block I've got with doing this paperwork is just, and that's how bad the depression would be. That's effectively someone saying, "Hello, here's £10,000. I just need you to get out of bed," and you go, "I can't. I'm just gonna stay in bed," and they'll get extra sad that I'm not getting the £10,000. So that's grim. So I've got today to do it, and I really hope I can get my act together. The paperwork for that one is a million times more complicated than the last one that I applied to, and it's so bad. Like, you've got one file, there's one document you can upload to put all this information in. So then it's just all these steps that make it hard. So I've got to mix it all into one PDF file, which then becomes too big. Then you've got to shrink it down. And I've got to put all these weird bits of information into one tiny, and I've got to almost write an essay on why I deserve the money and all this sort of stuff, whereas the previous one was a lot more straightforward. But that one is not happening due to some loopholes and some other people taking the cash. But so that's a huge thing. And yeah, someone effectively stood there going, "Hello, £10,000," and to be just not needing to do that. I've got trade orders if you're any of my trade customers. I've got those that haven't gone out. I've got a lot of emails not to do. There's just so many like bits that I've got to do. It's so much paperwork to do, and I just can't deal with it at the moment. I start, and all I need to do is just go. All I can do is just go to bed because it's all just too much, and then I get stuck in that sort of rut. And I've been ordering takeaways from my bed as well. So I've spent quite a lot of money on takeaways, which isn't helping, and then feeling grim about myself because I've not been eating correctly. So sorry to put that on you on this Sunday morning coffee. So what I got, yeah, it just really sucks. And I've mentioned last week that I don't really feel I can talk about it because everything sucks for everybody right now, and I don't want to burden anyone, which feels terrible because I feel myself saying this, and my thing is always to go, if your friend was saying this, would you feel that? Like, no, of course not. But it's always different when it's yourself. So I do feel a bit like probably like physically the most isolated ever, but just generally really isolated right now. Um, because I don't feel there is any support, and it kind of sucks. It sucks that my therapy finished during the pandemic as well, and now I'm just like, guess I'll just deal with the things. I've missed a load of comments, so I'll just quickly go up. Okay, so you're all excellent. Excellent. Sorry, there's lots of them. I just want to make sure you know I'm reading. Oh, way. Oh, thank you. Because you give a lot of joy to people, your models have helped people get through the current situation. And your coffee mornings have helped people, and your new releases have made people happy. Oh, thank you. Yay. I would hope that even when I'm just sad, if you're thinking, hey, Annie's sad too, maybe that's okay. Yeah, just the amount of things, my overwhelm is just enormous. And my ability to do anything with it right now is bad. So I'm in a bit of a crushing. And this is the point with work where I start thinking that this is where just my legs gone dead. If I was in a partnership or something, so I had somebody else, because it's all on me. And when I'm unpredictable with this sort of stuff, it doesn't help with my world domination plans, because the business will just shut. So much so it just goes into a shadow for a few days. If I'm in a shadow for a few days, and that's really crap. And that's when I get down on myself. So how can I be a bigger company, like some of the other names you see, when I can't, imagine if I had a company where I had to say like even just 10 staff and I couldn't get in some days, that's not sustainable. So then I'd get down on myself that how am I supposed to be a business owner when I just can't day to day sometimes. So I don't quite know what to do about that. And the problem is that, yeah, obviously there's take some time out, chill, and I can't, because say if I chill today, I don't get that potential 10 grand. It might not even be 10 grand. I've known another friend who's got approved with it, and they say they'll let you know at the end of June exactly how much you get. So yeah. Yeah, so there's that. I've been on a big downer with the trans debate this week as well. Obviously, J.K. Rowling came out and said some terrible stuff, and that's had such a knock-on effect that then I get tangled up in that with the what's it? You try and get yourself not overwhelmed by things, but you can't ignore them either. So there's obviously all the Black Lives Matter stuff, which is both awesome and terrible. So yeah, I've enjoyed that the dialogue's happening. Obviously, lots of terrible things are happening as well, but it does feel like some sort of revolution, which is kind of cool. And it's forcing people to take some action, which is it's like it's just jumped forward a chunk. So I hope that it does that rather than then take some steps back. But with the trans stuff at the moment, so out of nowhere amongst all this, Rowland's obviously popped up and gone, hello. You're like, oh, what are you doing? So she's sort of added into that, and I don't think a lot of people quite realise how much of an effect that has when somebody like that says that, because it starts this whole chain. Because you go, oh, just ignore it, children's author, whatever. But she starts this dialogue that's legitimised and sort of just comes down and trickles into everywhere and makes it seem like there even is a dialogue. And it's been driving me a bit nuts that whilst so many people have got to this sort of radicalized position with Black Lives Matter, that they've kind of, sounds bad, like people have suddenly realized racism is bad. Like, yes, and they're sharing lots of things, and it's all about what is it? I don't know. I'm always very careful how I word these, because I never want to be taken out of context or anything. And I'm definitely not doing the whole, well, what about this? It's just that there's these two issues right now, and one's getting a lot of sympathy. Maybe it's obviously still a bit of a well, it's a fight, because you can tell by the weird statue stuff that went on yesterday. But generally, yeah, it's a good dialogue, and even newspapers and big companies and all this are going, yes, we fully support this. screw these people. Sorry, remembering I'm checking I'm saying what I'm actually intending to say. Yeah, it's like, screw the racists, all that sort of stuff. We're behind you. We'll do what we can. So they're still saying people are really being ace with this, but at the same time, they're saying, "Oh yeah, but the trans people, oh no." Like, can't you see that the fight is the same? And you've got this one, you've got the racism thing, you understand it now, excellent. But this really similar thing, no. So I've been extra sad. That did actually cost me a couple days by itself this week. Okay, my viewers are going. I lost a whole chunk of Twitter followers, but it was kind of funny because they didn't leave immediately. So they didn't want to look like they'd left because of that. So it was like a few days later after I'd posted a load of stuff that they all sort of disappeared. But I don't know where I'm going with this ramble. It's enraged me so much, and it's made me really sad because well, it just sucks. It makes me sad, and then I think, well, if it makes me this sad, then trans people, it's obviously a million times worse, and that people can have these sort of intellectual debates. I think that's what's been bothering me. Well, everything's been bothering me. So when you look at okay, because I was looking at a lot of the 1940s stuff, obviously, for the last project. I was reading then just some of the intellectual debates they'd had about racism. It's just so similar. So it's so I'm getting distracted by my watches just disappearing now, and they go, she's talking about that. Let's go. What's the word? I'm also being crap with how I'm saying stuff. Yeah, I just can't imagine how much it must suck for you that you're watching people have intellectual debates on basically your right to exist, and that's infuriating that it's even a thing. And just the arguments they've been putting through, I've lost quite a few friends over it. I'm sure I'll lose customers over it. And again, I just feel like I'm not in a position where I can even complain about that because I'm still nowhere near a situation. It's my privilege, basically, that I can choose to talk about it or not. And earlier on in the whole thing, I was a bit more, trying to break through to people a bit more. And then it's just stuff like, say, having people on my Facebook friends list on my personal thing. And I thought actually having those people around and trying to give them the benefit of the doubt is actively screwing over my friends who are trans. So they can go. Basically, when it's a choice between, like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go. And it's sad. It's sad because I've been mourning a loss of some friends. But there's no choice. I don't know what to say. So I'm sad that this is happening, and then I'm also mourning my personal friendships that I've lost because there's been some really otherwise lovely people that just suddenly come out with this, and they're like, no, you can't. And the tweet I'd put up was something like, if you support me in what I do, but you don't support trans women, black women, disabled women, all the intersectional stuff, then you don't support me because you can't say, oh, you're okay. We like women, you're okay, but some of the other ones I'm not sure about. Like, you don't support me then, so I'm not taking that. Sorry, there's a bunch of there's been some terrible news this morning on it all, and it's so enormous, and it just makes me so sad that they've built this intellectual debate that can make people go, well, they do have a point. Like, no, it's not. Hang on, I was just reading my things. Yay, my tiny turtle. I'm liking this little conversation that's going on in the side. I won't read it all out because it's there and you can read it. But yeah, that's just I'm trying to think, what can I do? Yeah, so it's like I'm obviously overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed just in a bubble outside of everything. I'm overwhelmed with my own brain doing what it does regardless of anything. It just sucks occasionally because I have depression and anxiety, and so that's all happening itself in my brain. And then outside of it, there's this whole pandemic going on, which is obviously a whole other load of stress. And then there's just, like America on fire, um, trans people being screwed over even more, and it's just so much. And then there's that whole take what you can, if you can't handle it all right now, it's okay. But then getting angry at myself because I'm like, oh, it's fine for me to just switch off some of these issues because they don't directly impact me. And that's so yeah, I don't know. I need to fight it, but I also need to be well. And I don't know. And yeah, just seeing people being turned is just so crappy, and that makes me want to then help them see. And then I think, if I'm trying to explain to you why somebody deserves basic rights, why aren't you getting that? Why are you actually worth my time? So I don't know. um I did, when I was in my sad rampages earlier in the week, I said, what I want in my lifetime is to not have to explain to anybody why anybody deserves rights or to exist. It's, why are we still having these conversations? So yeah, I kind of reached this point now where it's like, okay, these people say don't put politics into business and all this sort of stuff, and I've always tried not to in terms of politics, but from the start, I've been quite vocal on these sort of issues because they're not politics. They're just what should be. I think I said before, it's not whether a certain road should be extended or whether we should have 2 bin collections a week rather than one sort of politics. It's, are people allowed to have equal rights? That's, of course, yes. How is this a controversial thing to say? So my legs keep going totally dead. Um, so yeah, and I've been a lot more aggressive and vocal about it this week, and it's definitely cost the company. But I just I don't care anymore. But then that's also there in my brain because it's not like I've got a huge ton of cash that I can go, haha. I don't require your custom. A lot of people go, screw them, you don't need their custom. So I do actually, because it's all so very tight that losing that chunk of customers. So it's, yeah, balancing doing the right thing and actually still staying in business, and yeah, then arguing with myself about it. So yeah, it's just, the world is pretty wild at the moment. What was I going to say? I had my leg's gone totally dead. Oh crap. So yeah, just seeing some of how crappy a whole bunch of trans people I know are feeling. So browsing like my Facebook feed, and there's just all this about how these latest things have affected them, and it sucks. And then to see some other mates there going, yeah, but what JK says, when we really look at it, is she being so terrible? I'm like, come on, really? So yeah. And I hate that she's got herself in the news again. There's a good meme where it's like, nobody's talking about me. Let's say some horrible things. Yay. But hey, maybe the whole sort of the radicalization with the Black Lives Movement might catch on, and maybe people will start looking at all other sort of minority groups of people, or marginalized groups of people, and see if we can spread that. Sorry, just looking at the side bits. Oh, my pegs are terrible at the moment. They are absolutely terrible. Although as I look, they're all stretching and lying long. In a totally different subject from what I was just talking about. They go on heat. I was explaining this to someone. So they go on heat sort of once a month. And most of the time, you don't really notice. They kind of just get a bit angry. I get that. But occasionally, certain pegs, or if they're just particularly hormonal or whatever, they're just a nightmare. So Karen and Nini are my two that you can definitely know they're on heat. So Nini's on heat at the moment, which means that she chases everyone around, tries to hump them just aggressively all the time, but not Gregor. I don't know why he's off limits. Maybe it's because he's so scary, or maybe she's just not into him. But she just, all I can hear is panicked squeals and humping. I heard loads of squeals last night because the sofa kind of touches onto the pig pen, so it means that even when I'm sad, I can lie there and sort of go, oh, piglets. So I put my head up to see what was going on and got a nice close shot of Carol spray weeing. I was like, nobody knows how these creatures are awful. They're like, look how cute they are. Like, they're not. They're awful. So yeah, an aggressive guinea pig on heat is just a nightmare because she runs around humping everyone, and they all spray wee to they'll spray wee to repel us. It's just this horrific den of spray weeing. Yeah, so bizarre. And just me occasionally walking through going, stop humping! But they're a bit humped out at the moment. It's very bizarre. So just checking up on those bits there. So yeah, there's just so many issues going on at the moment that are really being magnified, and it's like, where do you even start with it? It's pretty wild. The shops open tomorrow, and my tram that I've been having various rants about. So the face coverings are mandatory from tomorrow. And thanks for gnawing. It's Gregor gnawing. So they're mandatory. And they've got the social distancing, but they have said that they aren't going to enforce it. So I don't know quite what that means. So I've got a bit of extra anxiety about the tram usage from next week, because it's been all right. It's been terrible in the evenings, but the morning and anything in the morning has been fine. It's been getting busier and busier, and it's still been workers. So we all know how much it sucks. So we're mostly all just masked and standing away from each other. But yeah, tomorrow it opens up to the masses, and I have no idea what it's going to be like. I assume the morning will be fine, but the afternoon is going to be grim. So I don't know whether to start. I've got to adjust my work hours around it. And then next week, after that, they do a month of works on the tram. So then you're halfway through the tram journey, you've got to get off, and then there's a replacement bus to cram you all onto. So I don't know what's going to be happening with that. I might just cut my days in the office or something for a bit, because that's going to be grim. Can you get one of those clear umbrellas that comes over your shoulders? I looked at that at the very start of the pandemic, and I thought, will I look like a total idiot? And I've still maintained that that's potentially quite a good idea. Be like, like the bee uniforms, but with plastic. I'd probably end up just dying and suffocating. I'd be like, God damn it. I met some very lovely people on the tram. That's a nice little bonus. I've decided I'm like the sheriff of the tram now, because they've put red tape over most of the seats. But because I've been following all the social media, because I've been emailing them back and forth as well, because they've been pretty terrible. But so, for example, all the disabled seats are taped off, but you are technically, it's advice. So if you're disabled or old or whatever reason you need to sit down, you are actually allowed to use them, but nobody knows that because they just see this big taped off section. So now more and more people are starting to come out of isolation and use it. I've been sat there with my mask. Who is this mysterious woman? So I've been watching people get on, look sadly at the disabled seating, and then sort of hobble over somewhere else. Out of the darkness she comes. You can sit there. It's okay. It's okay. I'm aware of this. And they're like, oh, you sure? I'm like, you sit there. I've got your back. You sit right there. So that's been kind of fun. And also, they've taped, there's 8 seats on the entire tram you can sit on. But if you're in a family unit type thing, you can sit together. But again, it doesn't say any of this. It's all so vague. So like get couples come on and then they go, oh no, and they have to sit, right across from each other. So there was a pretty old couple in the week that did that, and I did my Robin Hood, Annie Hood, going, it's okay, you can do this, you're allowed. And then I got chatting to them for the whole journey, and I really wanted to carry on chatting to them, but I was really hungry, so I had to get to my stop. It's so close to staying on at the stop and just chatting to them for a bit to then come home again. I was so hungry, so I had to get off. Um, but the lady in particular, I was explaining to them, it's difficult. They just come out of isolation, so I said it's understandable if you don't quite know what the rules are and all this sort of stuff. And she started telling me about the war out of the blue, and it was really. It's just I like people talking about the war. I'm like, oh, I get off now. She's saying, oh yes, you used to have the gas masks and now it's the face masks, so it was that as well. And what was she saying? Uh, just sort of random anecdotes about World War Two and how she'd go to bed and you'd hear the bombing and you'd think, is this my house gonna get bombed tonight? And she said, it's like that. Will I wake up and I'll have died from COVID? Oh my God. So it was just like a cool comparison. But yeah, they were super nice. So it was really lovely chatting to them, which is a bonus because it's normally terrible people on the tram. And yeah, they were really cool about it. But yeah, instead of going, oh, we survived the Blitz, they're like, yep, there are lots of similarities here. We'll follow the rules, sort of thing. So yeah, they were just really nice. They gave me a nice like, oh, I like these. If I missed that, new friend business cards to give to people on the tram. Yeah. Hello, I'd like to hear more about your World War II anecdotes. Here, take this. An old man gave me his card once. It was very odd. It was when I was in Cardiff and I was in the back alley where Firestorm is, and there was a man walking about, quite an old man, and he said, I'm looking for friends, and gave me his card that he'd made specifically to have friends. And I would have been a bit weirded out as being approached. Part of me would like to think that he just genuinely wanted friends and was giving the cards out, but I decided not to take the risk on that one. What are bee uniforms coming down? Oh yeah, I just got like bee uniforms. I watched the Community episode with the bee costumes last night, and I'm like, what's happening? So yeah, in the general ramblings and rantings, yeah, I've just been trying to make extra sure that people know that Bad Squiddo is fully intersectional in its feminism and also just general being cool to each other, which again shouldn't be a big statement. I did feel I got a bit of peer pressure from all the other companies that started doing their white on black text things, just saying we're not racist. And I don't know, I'm like managing that line between being a good ally but not virtue signaling, or look, because I'm a business, it's that looking like I'm trying to cash in on anything. So part of me is like, oh, I'm seeing all these people now being shared around social media, and I'm thinking, oh, they'd make a really cool mini. And then I'm also like, oh, I don't want to look like I'm cash grabbing, but I want them to exist. So I'm hoping maybe my history of that, well, not cash grabbing, my history of being a bit outspoken about the sort of thing, will help and not look like, it's not someone that out of the blue has just gone, we're going to do this, really. So yeah, I don't know. I've been very rambly on this one, so apologies. Thanks for people for sticking around, despite all my yay. I'm just pretty terrible at the moment. What have we got inside? So what am I looking at there? Do I have a different personal social media account? I have a personal social media account, which most of you aren't on, because it's my one bit where I'm not being Bad Squiddo. But to be fair, I'm kind of done with that at the same time. I've like trimmed it into my what's the word they say? Bubble of I can't think what the word is. Echo chamber. Yes, I've mostly made it an echo chamber, and I like that because the rest of the world's horrible. So yeah, on my personal page, it's try and get rid of people. Yeah, I got rid of some more this week, and I don't know if they'll notice. It was more industry people that have been posting some racist stuff that I've kind of gone, yeah, no, let's go. You can go. You can go. And that was a bit sad as well. Going, yep, you can go. What was it? So yeah, on my on my personal thing, I'm a bit more radical than I post on the other bits, obviously. But yeah, it's trying to get out. Sounds terrible. Trying to get out my not thoughts or beliefs, because it just sounds like it's something airy fairy, and it's not. Trying to get out my rage, I guess, in a palatable manner for the masses. So even when I do post things as Bad Squiddo, just to try and make it as unarguable as possible, sort of thing. Which I have decided I am a professional tone policer. But I do get as well with a lot of the issues that especially with some of the because obviously we're a feminist company, that's the whole point. That I do have a bunch of customers that are of a bit of a different world, that are kind of new to the whole thing. So some of those are trying to ease a bit gently into the way of thinking, because if you just suddenly bam someone with all this rage, they're like, woo. And then there's the baddies basically going, we'll be kind to you, come here. So there is a little bit of that sort of balancing act that I do, but that's quite tiring as well, and sometimes I just want to not bother. But what else have I got? Because I've just been ranting about stuff that isn't Bad Squiddo, and I don't want you to go, let's not come back next week. Please come back next week. What are the bits and bobs before I head off and my dead leg? I wanted to go about 20 minutes in, and I've managed to stretch it. So I've had some really nice messages, so that's helped me get some ally points. So it's that, yeah, trying to not just be a virtue signaler, but yeah, it's been super nice to know that I have actually made a bit of an impact. So it makes it feel not quite as grim. So if more people, do that, then I'm in that position where I can have a bit more of a voice that people listen to. So that's good. So what is happening in Bad Squiddo next week? Hopefully I'll go to work. That would be cool. I know the coffee stopped me yawning, so there. And you can't even get me to yawn by saying yawn now. So next week is... I still need to do an update on the Kickstarter to officially tell people it's done. And that's when people go, oh, I never filled in the pledge manager. Of course you didn't. Let's do that. So I got that to do. I think I'm basically just on paperwork next week, but whether I do it or not is a whole other thing. So I'm massively struggling with getting anything done, but I also can't chill because there's a lot that has to be done, constantly to keep a business running. And that's when I get sad, because I go, maybe I'm not cut out to run a business. And, that really sucks, because I obviously am, and I've managed. It's been 5 years of this, and then, I don't know, 4 years of Dice by Lady before that. So I clearly can run a business. But just, I get down on myself when I lose some days. And I do know some other, what's the words? I'm going. Do you know some other... I don't really know what I was saying there. I just totally zoned out. I have no idea. I'm sorry. Next week stuff. Nope, no idea. Will you be doing any more Vampire Gothic minis soon? That is a plan. One of the sculptors I was going to use for that has been posting some dodgy some dodgy stuff lately, so I think I'm gonna have to cull him. But not one of my regular people, don't worry. But I'll probably get Alan on some of that. But it's all just that's like I'm just stuck in this. There's so much to do. So I want to do these big releases, but then bits in between. I definitely want to do some more Vampire Gothic stuff. I'm always up for suggestions for that lot as well, because obviously it's such a wide sort of thing. But female minis, but because there's already men in that range, I'm not averse to doing some men's for that. Yeah, that's the downside to Facebook. You have all these other industry people on there, and occasionally you discover that they've got horrific views when they start posting their stuff, and then you look on the comments, and then you see another name. You're like, oh, oh, oh no. So that's been happening quite a bit this week too, which has also sucked. Because that sort of cuts. I feel like I've already cut down the amount of people I can work with on, that sort of level. So then I think, well, me, by having some values, is kind of screwing myself at the same time, because I'm cutting all these opportunities off. But I do have a never knowingly work with arseholes policy. So, Jez, you're still working for me. How did you do it? If he's still there. Oh, my foot is absolutely dead. I don't know if this will work as a position. How can I do it without my foot? So yeah, where's I going with this? Yeah, I'm struggling at the moment trying to get everything just even running day to day, let alone all of the new war stuffage. Yeah, so I need to sort my brain out. Part of how I work is that I tend to, if I have these rubbish times where I can't do anything, there'll be a day where suddenly I'll wake up and I'm absolutely fine again. If not fine, then manic. And I've just kind of been waiting for that, and it's not happening. So like, is it gonna happen? Come on, I could do some manic. So yeah. Is Rocky Horror copywritten? I wouldn't go near it because, well, one, of copyright. I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. Dude, Richard O'Brien's bad now. I can't remember. All the celebrities are bad. I think he said something really crappy about trans people. But with that sort of, it's like the sort of reading those. Yes, he is. Yes. I'd like to do some people from history, and I'm kind of figuring out how I can make that into a mini Kickstarter somehow, because that'd be really nice to do. But anything that involves named characters just means I never do everything that people want to do. So if I do 10 characters, there'll be all the what's it? What about this person? What about this person? Like, I'm trying. And obviously individual characters cost a lot more than troops to get made too, in terms of it's the sculpting and the moulding. Oh, my leg. What am I doing? But I've got a good idea. I've been talking to someone from another company about doing something as well. So there's potentially some cool stuff on the horizon. I just don't have any Annie for it at the moment. And yeah, I can see this potential of what Bad Squiddo could be, and then the hurdles are mostly me based, and yeah, that's just a bit rubbish. But yeah, there's going to be lots more stuff. Thank you for sticking around. I know I've not really said much this time, but I said more than I I thought I would. When I was turning it on, I was like, what am I even going to talk about? I've done nothing. I've been in bed and I'm miserable, and I don't want to spread that to people. But I like that you're all chatting in the comments, and feel free, obviously, if you want to. If any of you think, hey, such and such from the comments is cool, I'd like to be friends with them or something, you can always message me, and I'll be a little intermediate and message them, and see if you want to internet hookup. You know what I mean? So if you don't quite know who people are by the usernames or anything like that, and you think, I'd like to carry on talking to this person outside of Sunday morning coffee or whatever, put me a message, because that'd be nice. I like people making friends through through what I do. It's super nice. Had one of the salutes where there was basically a whole bunch of people that had met up that were buying stuff, got chatting on my stand, and then suddenly it was like, oh, you're such and such from Twitter. And then they're like, well, I'm such and such from Twitter. And it was like, yes. So that's ace. Is some, oh, little piglets, they're so cute. You are a terrible guinea pig. Needy's having a nice sleep. But what's the word? I probably do some of my little Instagram story thing later, feeding those treacherous pigs. And please give me thoughts and prayers on whether I get this paperwork done, because it's a huge deal. I absolutely need to get it done. Yeah, I don't want to go because you're having nice chats on the side. I don't want to cut that off. I'm sure there are other bits to add, but hey, you're still here, you're still watching, so thank you. My lodger is about a week away. That's another thing that I have not sorted. So my house is an absolute topsy-turvy as I'm clearing that room, but I'm in that point where you empty stuff out and then kind of stop. But I think he's trying to find a move date at the moment, but it's going to be about a week from now and then a couple days. So I seriously need to get that stuff sorted too. So just walking around going, there's stuff everywhere, he's going to move in, there's going to be stuff everywhere. But yeah, that'll be really cool. And I'll drag him onto here at some point as well. Because yeah, he's going to be like in the house and I'm just filming stuff in the living room. I did not get the captain's bed. I spent so long measuring up to get the captain's bed and realised it's just not doable because my bedroom is so small. But I built this like whole wall of furniture basically by stacking it all on top, which is kind of doable. So yeah, I've been trying to just do that, go around moving, condensing all my things so he's got some place to put some of his stuff and all that, and it's not just Annied everywhere. So there's a whole bunch of guinea pigs too. But yeah, that's cool. So I'll be able to say who it is, because you might actually know who it is, which is cool. It's not a wargamey person. And this is a really rubbish thing to have to say, but because people are rubbish. He is a lodger. It is not a partner. It is somebody who is living in my house for somewhere to live. Because I get romantically linked with basically anybody I hang out with in the industry, which sucks. So I thought I'd just mention that at the start before you go, ooh, is Annie moving in? It is definitely not that scenario. So there you go for you gossip mongerers. But yeah, you should find out who it is pretty soon, which would be cool. And you can go, no way, this house is so cool. It's all full of wargaming people. I wish I had another room and I could have another wargaming person. That'd be ace. But yeah, that'd be cool. Right, I'm going to go. Thanks for watching. Hopefully next week I'll be more chipper and all that sort of stuff. And I hope you have a nice rest of the day and chat and make some friends and all that. Yeah, so pray for me. I'm gonna be tackling that paperwork. If I do it, I deserve anything that I want, totally, right? So see you all later. Be good and excellent. Thanks. And as I click the thing. Bye.